Hello, gamers and gamettes. What is going on? My name is Tanek127, and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video, I want to talk to you about Nintendo and Nintendo Directs and all of that fun stuff. However, if you want to stay up to date on all things console-based MMOs, RPGs, gaming news, and stuff like that, whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, or Switch 2, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and get on into today's topic. So, special thank you and shout out to Square Enix for hooking me up with a review copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch 2. The gameplay you guys are seeing right here is actually one of the most intense sections in the game, at least on the last gen version. Before it was patched, there was, a lot of issues with like frame dips and stuff with like this area, this combat section in particular, and a few others. And I just wanted to show you guys how cool it was running on the Switch 2, because I actually had a different plan for this video until this news came up. So, for those who don't know, if you've been living under a rock, the Switch 2 is Nintendo's latest console. Though I'm sure everybody knows that came out last June, and me personally, I've been fanboying for it a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a huge fan of Nintendo, and I haven't had this much fun with a Nintendo console since like the 64 and GameCube days. I like it when Nintendo has a console that's on par with the competition, because they can get that good third-party support and all that, and it just, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what you play on, because especially now with things like cross-play, cross-progression, and stuff like that. I can play games like Fortnite and Apex on my Switch just fine with my buddies who are on PS5, Xbox, or PC, and still have a time that matches their experience. But what I wanted to talk about, because this, and just speaking of these things in particular, is there was a leak for a Nintendo Direct here for February, and a lot of people were getting excited about it and stuff like that, and it's understandable because nearly every single year Nintendo has their first Direct sometime around early to mid-February, or sometimes even late February, but it's usually around February. So, when I heard the leak, I was like, oh, shocker. They've done that for years now, but okay. And it was leaked by Nate the Hate. For those who don't know, he's a well-known leaker and all that good stuff. But more information has came out about the Direct, and it's apparently a partner showcase. For those who don't know what a Nintendo Direct partner showcase is, it's basically a Direct based on third-party games. And people are upset and bothered by this, because it's not a first-party Direct. And the reason I purposely paired this game and gameplay with this video is just so I can see the point. Like, look on the screen, guys. Like, hello. A Switch console is running the FF7 remake in good quality. One big problem Nintendo has had, especially since from last gen, was lack of third-party support. The original Nintendo Switch never got a Call of Duty game because it just wasn't doable, or at least the devs didn't feel like going through the trouble. Panic Button had to make a name of themselves for doing miracle ports on Switch. At the end of the day, Panic Button are amazing developers for doing that, but for your console to be, or your hardware to be so weak that there has to be a special developer dedicated, to specialize making things on that console. Like, don't get me wrong, props to the developer, but that kind of looks bad on your behalf. Now, Nintendo finally has more decent, more powerful hardware that, that can actually keep up with the competition. 120 FPS capabilities, ray tracing capabilities, all that stuff, and it's still a mobile architecture-like platform, which is incredible. And they're like, hey guys, we're going to get the third-party support that we didn't have before. And people are just like, oh, well, where's the new Mario? Where's the new Zelda? Guys, think of every Nintendo console that has ever came out. When have Nintendo ever released a console, or even a handheld, and not given you a new Mario or new Zelda game? If y'all really think that the Switch 2 is here, and they're not going to release a new dedicated Mario for it or Zelda that takes advantage of the power of this thing, you're insane. And I think people are just being whiny little Just I don't know. Just little idiots about it. Because Nintendo's not showing all of their cards right at the beginning of the year. That's a good thing. At the end of the day, there is competition between the three companies: PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. Xbox not so much because they've given up, and they are throwing their games on every platform. But whatever, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, let's just show our full hand of cards right at the start of the year, so that way Sony and Microsoft know what to do to counter it. No, let's take our time, build up show we got the third party roster now. Like, yeah, boys, we getting that support. No, we ain't even hit you with the first party yet, and truly hype things up. What the hell? We finally got a console that is capable of running the current gen stuff. Like, there are videos out there comparing the Switch 2 version of the FF7 remake to PS5 Pro. Just because, it looks that good on Switch 2. Yet people are like, well, no, I want the first parts. Like, I get it, be excited for new Mario's, Zeldas, and all this stuff of that Nintendo charm. At the end of the day, I know that's what a lot of people buy Nintendo consoles for. But the fact that we're getting the third party stuff too, I'm just saying that's not something you should be mad about. Remember, the more Nintendo makes, the more they can support the things y'all really want. It's a business at the end of the day. I'm just saying, guys, that don't make no sense to me. I don't know. Like, I know there's not a ton of Nintendo fans here on this channel, but I just wanted to throw my thoughts out there on this because I thought that was an insane mentality. Like, guys, even if y'all don't play on Switch 2, right? Tell me this. Let's say, it was PlayStation or Xbox. They had a console that was, really behind in tech. And, they finally announced a State of Play or an Xbox showcase where they're getting a ton of third-party support because they finally have that power. Wouldn't y'all be hyped? Like, just, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Y'all enjoyed today's video? Smash that like. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.